Chapter 19, The Temple of the Sun and the Moon. Pop said the American idea of Mexico, slums and tequila, was wrong. That was not his Mexico. He wanted to show me the lush green jungles, the beaches, and the history. We went to visit his relatives, on that hilltop in Tijuana, just like we had with Mom when I was a child. We visited the place that the family was so proud of, but when we got there, that too had changed. My family couldn't open up to me. There was no way for me to communicate with them. Whatever little Spanish I'd learned as a child was mostly forgotten. I was now just as hopeless talking to them as I was with Consuelo. Pop got to make up his own story about where I'd been, since I couldn't talk to them. I was sure he wouldn't tell everybody why Mom left him or that he was cheating on her. Everybody heard his story, that I didn't understand, and hugged me at the conclusion. They were trying to be friendly, but nothing felt like it used to. Everybody asked about Susie and Mom. But Pop didn't want to talk about it. Because the family visits were awkward, my only pleasant memories came from when Pop and I went adventuring. We snuck away from the family to a place north of Mexico City, Teotihuacan. It was a place said to hold the ruins of a city created to celebrate long-forgotten gods. The highlights at Teotihuacan are the famous Pyramid of the Sun and Pyramid of the Moon. The Pyramid of the Sun, the largest and steepest of the two, looks over the entire city. Just like Woodmont Towers over Gladwine. The ancient, multi-floor apartment compounds at its base once accommodated the large population of religious followers, just like Father's hotels. Historians say a high degree of social control from the upper echelon of the movement is evident. To me, the similarities between the ways ancient civilizations followed their gods and the social order Father Divine and the peace mission had created was uncanny. I climbed both pyramids that day. The Pyramid of the Sun, one of the tallest pyramids in the world, was so vertical that I hit my knees to my chest when I got to the top. It was a physically exhausting climb, and I had to take it alone since Pop wasn't in good enough shape. At the pinnacle, I felt like I was on top of the world. I don't know how to describe it, but it felt like I was at my closest point to God. It was a bit ironic, me being up there on top of the house made to remember forgotten gods, after I'd laid the foundation for a monument to a different god. We stayed in Mexico for a month, traveling through the ruins and jungles. We stopped at Pop's hometown, Los Mochis, Sinaloa, in Lower Mexico on the east side of the Sea of Cortez. Here, I accidentally dyed my hair. I tried to cool off in the summer heat and turned on a garden hose while holding it over my head. The chlorine in the water turned my hair green. The trip had funny moments like that, but it was nothing like the old days. There was no natural laughter. I felt like we were concealing so much. When we came back from the trip, my father signed me up for school. This time I was going to Virgil Junior High. It was filled with people who looked like me, but I would learn quickly that we were worlds apart.